Hey, football fans, this is Gary Greene, longtime sports bettor and professional sports handicapper here in Las Vegas for the past 35 years. And this is your heading into week number 7 stock down team of the week. In this case, it's going to be stock down on the offensive unit team of the week, and it's the Cleveland Browns. And I told you in another video how bad the defense for the New Orleans Saints was, and probably the worst tackling I've seen in decades watching film. Well, you don't even have to watch film to just know that this offense is by far the worst offense. Yes, they're dead last. They nowhere else to go. They should be lower than even dead last. That's how bad they are. But this is a situation where this team is really in a tough situation as far as the quarterback spot goes because they have Watson on a deal that they owe him a lot of money for years to come. And can they eat that right now? They're 1-5. This offense on third down 3 for 12 last week against the Eagles, 1 for 13 against Washington the week before, 3 for 10 the week before. This year on third down, the Cleveland Browns offense, 17 for 77. And you look at final scores, they covered the game against the Eagles last week. And they covered the game because of one bad play by the Eagles, a field goal try from way out over 50 yards on the last play of the first half. They blocked the field goal. They ran it back for a touchdown. Another game, they ran back a late fumble recovery against the Las Vegas Raiders and got 7 points that way. This team, if you look at the numbers, and again, stats a lot of times will lie. In this case, they aren't lying for most of them, but the 15.8 points a game goes down to all the way down to 13 if it's not for turnover for touchdowns. The defense is scoring almost as good as the offense is this year, and that's with one fluke play 2 times. This is a disaster. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, actually came out and say that Deshaun Watson will stay the starter because he gives the team the best chance to win. This team does not have 300 total yards one time the entire year. This is a absolute debacle. Every phase of the game, the offensive line is the worst in the league. Deshaun Watson, the worst quarterback in the league, and this situation ain't getting better anytime soon. Now they play the Cincinnati Bengals at home, where they're a 5-point underdog, and you have to wonder how long this defense, especially the guys like Myles Garrett, are going to keep going out there and plugging and plugging and plugging when they know that this offense is this putrid. You have a game, you have a offense that has 2 rushes the entire year over 16 yards, one for 25 and one for 34. 2 rushes all year over 16 yards. This league is really so wild that you could get breakaway, just missed tackles, guys make a good block, and you should have that 2 times minimum per game almost. And this team right now, 16-yard or less on every carry but 2. I just don't know where to look at that this team's going to get better. Deshaun Watson is just a terrible read at the line of scrimmage guy right now. He's slow. He used to be a little quicker running and getting some extra first downs with his legs. You're not getting that at all. Again, you do not have to bet on teams. You can bet against them every week. For years, Tom Brady, good teams win, bad teams don't. And I've always said this, even on a great day, a bad team needs a great game to still cover. Last week they covered, and it's deceiving because, again, of that one little touchdown on a block field goal try. But overall, this team's not scoring at all. 2 weeks ago against Washington, they got a late touchdown. Again, skewed numbers because Washington had all backups in the game, and they dink and dunked them down the field and ended up getting a late touchdown. You can't even, I don't even put that in my scorecard. That type of stuff is just a situational thing where they did get points, but they're not real points. And I look at teams' real points, certain situations. You have to go way inside the box score sometimes. Our team's just getting padded stats at the end of the game. They did it in that game, but even with that, they still couldn't go over 300 yards. And they got, I think it was a short field on top of it. It was only about a 54-yard drive that they needed to go, but it took them 9 plays against the backup secondary for the Washington Commanders. So this is a stay off team. They're dead. It's over. This team might only win one more game the rest of the year. They may have the hardest schedule in the league. They have 3 home games the next 3 weeks. They host Cincinnati, Baltimore, and the LA Chargers. So this was a point where they should have been able to make a little run, even if they were 2-4 right now. But they're 1-5. They're not coming back. I mean, Cincinnati, Baltimore should be teams that could beat them pretty easily with the way their offenses are clicking right now. Cincinnati had a little bit of a tough game against the Giants, but the Giants' defense is very underrated. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and the Giants got this kid for eight sacks. He's been sacked 31 times. They can't run. They can't block. They can't quarterback. They can't catch. They could catch a cold net. Maybe even they won't even be able to do that. So, 23 times he was sacked in the last 3 weeks. His quarterback rating, Deshaun Watson, is 21.7, second worst in the league. Can you imagine second worst or somebody worse? I'll have to look that one up. But this is a team, the Cleveland Browns. Do not bet them. Look to fade them the rest of the year. This is an atrocious offense, one of the worst I've witnessed in at least a decade. And that's your NFL stock down, not team of the week, but offense of the week. The defense has not been playing great either, but they are nowhere near the level of this terrible offense of the Cleveland Browns. It's a debacle of the highest level. Stay away from the Cleveland Browns the rest of the year. This has been Gary Greene, and Gary wins. Have a great week, and may all your wagers be winning ones.